Nothing says, hi, I'm a millennial, more than wearing an MTV shirt. Hi guys, I'm Amanda, the Botanical Brunette, and welcome to my channel. So last year I posted a video that became kind of one of my top videos, and that was plant predictions of 2021. I won't say go ahead and watch that because honestly, the predictions last year were it was kind of a big question mark. Some of them were kind of far-fetched and I was like, I don't see this happening. I kind of went over all the plants and I kind of gave you my opinion on that. So we're gonna do that kind of video again this year for plant predictions for 2022. These plants are actually ones that I can see becoming actually like popular plants in 2022. So every time I do these lists, I go through I would say 5 to 10 articles, and whatever they are predicting, I'll kind of write them down and I'll tally every time they show up. And whatever one has the most tallies is the #1 plant of the year. I'm gonna give you all the plants that are predictions for 2022, and I'll also give you my opinion on them, whether someone in the plant community kind of sees that plant going to be popping in 2022, or if it's a dud and it's just not going to happen. Like I said, all of these plants are literally plants that I see that are going to actually be really popular this year. I think last year, one of the plants was an African milk tree, and I've literally never heard of that plant. I've seen pictures of it, but I never knew what it was called. It was that leafy, kind of it's honestly kind of ugly. It's a leafy, tall, barrel cactus looking thing with little leaves coming out of it. And I'm I literally did not see that once. In 2021, I did not see a picture of that other than doing that video. I didn't see anybody posting that. So that was not really a good prediction. There are 5 plants on this list, and I actually only have 2. So that leaves me room to add them to my wish list. Maybe, potentially. And then I'll also give you my prediction, what I think is going to be popular in 2022, and kind of what I've kind of been seeing popping up and trending lately. So I think that will be kind of fun too, just to kind of add that in the end. I also have a blog written on this. I'll link that below so you guys can kind of read a little bit more in depth. I wasn't able, because I only have 2 of them, I'm not gonna be able to showcase all of those plants on this list. So just go ahead and just check those out. So let's talk about the first plant on this list, and that is a satin Scindapsus. This is a Scindapsus exotica, but they specifically said in multiple articles a satin Scindapsus, which is this, or a silvery Ann. Basically any of the satiny leaves Scindapsuses is what they're referring to. And I 1000% agree that this is going to be I think this is honestly, this came up in so many articles, but I think this is going to be the plant of 2022. I could be completely wrong, but this is literally my favorite plant right now. I love this plant. It is so beautiful. It's so silvery and splashy and just such an easy houseplant. I can't tell you guys enough, this plant is just literally love. I love this plant so much. So this came up, like I said, on literally every article that I read. It was just I feel the #1. They never, in all of the articles that I read, they weren't this is the #1 or the #5. It was just a random list. I feel this is going to be the plant of 2022. These are also relatively easy to find, and they're not expensive. They go from $10 to $30, and I think I got this plant. I mean, it was much smaller, but I got this plant, I think it was I could just randomly throw out a number $15 to $20, and it has just completely just popped off and grew in the last couple of months. So it's just such a rewarding plant. It grows really, really fast, and it's really easy to care for. I also see this plant on Instagram like every day. I think there's even a hashtag like Scindapsus Saturday or Scindapsus Sunday. I'm not 100% sure which one it is. This has its own hashtag, so I think this plant is going to be, it's gonna be popping. I don't know, the angle might be a little bit funny. I accidentally kicked my camera stand and my camera like fell. Anyway, so the next plant that is said to be trending in 2022 is the Monstera siltepecana. This silvery Monstera is on my wish list, 100%. I need this plant in my life. Just like the Scindapsus exotica, I've been really into like that silvery variegation on plants. So I'm really like thinking that that's going to be a pretty big trend in 2022, is just that like silvery variegation. And again, like, you know, the white variegation is still ever so popular, but I think that is going to kind of like make it step aside a little bit and kind of shine brighter in the silver variegation. This vining Monstera is absolutely beautiful. I've seen it trailing, I've seen it vining. It's got like leaves very similar to a Cebu Blue. So it's got kind of like elongated leaves with like a light silvery variegation on it, and from what I've been told, it's very easy. I mean, most Monsteras are generally pretty easy to care for. They're pretty no frills plant, so I honestly like, I'm super excited and I can't wait to get one of my own. But unfortunately, I don't have one yet, so I can't show you. So the next plant to be said going to be popping in 2022 is Philodendron Mikans. Now, we all know that I have a love-hate relationship with the Philodendron Mikans. This plant is to be said to be a very popular plant. I don't think this plant ever went away. I feel like, putting my opinions aside, I feel like this plant has literally been a top plant in the last like at least 2 years. I have started to sort of love my Philodendron Mikans again. We're trying to get her back to a better state. She had thrips, she had root rot. She's been, I mean, honestly, poor girl has been through everything. I honestly chopped up the entire plant and propagated it. That kind of goes to show that this plant is pretty resilient and it will kind of just keep doing its thing. So Philodendron Mikans, I'll give you another shot. I'll give you another chance. This is also, again, putting my opinions aside, this is also a pretty easy to care for philodendron. If you have philodendrons in your collection, like a heartleaf or anything like that, this is going to be just as easy to care for. In my experience with the Mikans, I have noticed that I absolutely love trailing plants, but the thing is Mikans actually need to be climbing. The only reason why I say that is because if you let it trail, you're going to get really small leaves, and I think that's kind of where I kind of started to lose my love for the Mikans, is just I didn't like the really small kind of like weird leaves. So once this kind of grows a little bit more, I'm gonna start to experiment with it, and hopefully maybe I'll get it to trail, maybe I'll get it to climb, who knows. But we're gonna try a moss pole and I'm gonna see how that looks. I honestly, like, side note, I hate the look of a moss pole. I just don't like them. They're just kind of ugly to me. Like, I know that's like taboo and you guys must be like, oh my god, but yeah, I don't love moss poles. But we're gonna try. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know. She's my experiment, and I'm at least just happy that I still have a decent sized plant. It's in a like a 4-inch pot, like inside of it. So we'll see. This Philodendron Mikans, never going away. So the next plant is another plant that I saw on every article. I'm telling you, every single article. That is the Ficus umbellata. This plant has been said that this is going to be the next fiddly fig. It is very similar. It is in the same family as a fiddly fig, so it's going to be very similar care-wise as a fiddly fig. It does have a umbrella-like leaves. It's kind of kind of reminds me of like, don't get me wrong, it kind of looks like cabbage or like some type of vegetable leaf that I can't put my finger on, but it kind of reminds me of that. But they're super pretty, and they're going to be another kind of version of fiddly fig, but all these lists have been saying that this is going to be the Eggplant. If you are one of those people who hate fiddly figs or cannot keep one alive, I probably would stay away from this prediction just because it's probably going to be just as hard. But I really don't know. I don't have one in my collection. I've been kind of thinking about it. This might be one of those plants that I may not get just because I don't love the look of it, but I don't know. I mean, if I come across it and I wind up loving it in real life, I mean, just the pictures I've seen of it are not like great, but if I see it in real life and I start to love it, then maybe I'll give it a shot, but who knows? I'm not really sure. Now, this prediction for 2022 is very surprising to me. Like, and it's just the category of this type of plant, and that is ferns. Apparently ferns are coming back strong, guys. And this, they didn't give me any specific fern. I actually used to have a crocodile fern, but it died. So we might give ferns another shot. I've been looking at a couple different types of fern, like the blue star fern, which was a top choice for last year, but they just were very broad with the ferns. Like, they just think that ferns are gonna be a big comeback. Now, ferns are also notorious for being hard to care for. They need a lot of humidity, they need a lot of moisture. They're going to need a little bit more attention than like a pothos or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. Don't just go grabbing a fern just because me or someone else is telling you that, yeah, that's the new it plant. And you want to stay, you know, you want to keep up with the Joneses. Just be careful when you're buying ferns. I think my next fern that I want to buy is a staghorn fern. I want to actually do a video at some point to do a plank where they do like the wall hanging on the staghorn fern. I think that would be a fun experiment to do. But I mean, ferns are pretty. I think that they're really pretty, and you can get like really pretty, like fluffy looking ferns. If you're a very low maintenance plant parent, then I would probably just kind of stay away from them. All right, guys, now it's my predictions. So this is a plant, and this is going to be kind of like the ferns. It's going to be just the species of plant. And I have literally seen this plant all of a sudden popping up on my feeds. Now, it could be the algorithm because I just recently got some. I think that air plants, little air plants, these are going to be popping in 2022. I can feel it. I can feel it, guys. This is going to be a very popular plant. Now, air plants have never really gone away, but they've kind of, I feel like they get kind of coupled in the category of like a succulent or a cactus. People used to have them and then they don't anymore because now they have like pretty foliage plants. So I don't think that people kind of, this is like the underdog of the plant world, and you guys, if you don't have air plants in your collection, you need them because they're just so easy to care for. They're the easiest to care for. They literally live anywhere. You can put them anywhere, technically, and they're just, they're so pretty. I mean, look how fluffy this guy is. Like, so fluffy. Or you can get like this guy. He's like a little less fluffy, and I have another one that's up there. But I mean, they just literally are there. They can be anywhere. You can put them in an office. You can put them hanging in a hanging like chain thing. I have a sun catcher that you can put like air plants in, like literally anywhere. So I think that these are going to be poppin' in 2022. I know that's kind of like, you're probably like giving me side eye right now, like, okay, Amanda, whatever, like air plants are out. I'm telling you, they're in. they're in. They're coming back. I've also noticed them a lot more in nurseries and like plant shops. Like the big one that I just showed you, that one I got at a plant shop in Charleston, South Carolina, and they had like a really cute like air plant display, like actually kind of a bigger air plant display. And that kind of gave me like an idea like, oh, are air plants coming back? Like, are people like wanting to buy these now? And I don't see why not. They're just absolutely beautiful. So that's it, guys. That is the plant predictions. That is what the experts are saying are going to be the it plants of 2022. Again, there are some plants that I am just kind of like side-eyeing, and there's some that I am just like, yes, 100%. That's going to be the plant of 2022. And I think this is actually a better list than last year. Last year, I was like, I'm not sure about any of these. And honestly, I don't think really many of them were really popular. But this year, I really think that this is a solid list, and it's going to be like, it's going to be a good year for plants, I think. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think will be the trending plant of 2022. Or do you agree with this list? Are there plants that you're like, yeah, I don't see that happening? Because maybe you guys don't agree with my air plant prediction. What do you think your predictions are going to be for 2022? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to have a discussion with you guys. I like to like, you know, kind of talk plants with you guys. So let me know, and yeah, that's it. I hope you guys all have a great day and stay botanical.